Can
you hear me right now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. Can you hear me right now?
Perfect. Now I can hear you. Yeah. Technical difficulties. How are you doing?
What was the difficulty right here?
So I've tried to log in through my MacBook, but it wasn't able to open the site. So I've switched to my cell phone right now. And then when I restarted my laptop, I was able to join through my MacBook again. Yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome to have you here in this call, first of all.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate your content. It seems to hit a spot that hurts me a bit in my pride, because it's so true. And I've gone through all this a couple of times with different allocators. So thought it would be helpful to reach out and see what you can help with and what experience you bring to the table, etc.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Fabian, you have already showed interest on raising capital to my own team management. As you have already mentioned before, as I can see in the CRM, you are managing 40 million, and that's in the management today, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Exactly. How many team members you got today?
7.
And you are working globally, or how are you working today?
So the thing with the NFA and the CFTC is that we are under exemption at the moment. Hence, we are focusing more on the European and Singaporean, so Southeast Asia area, and planning to expand to the US on a later point.
Got it. And can you provide a quick brief about your own background? What have you done in the financial industry before? Since when have you already started with your own fund? I think that would be the best way to start today's call with.
Sure. So I've grown up in the 4th generation of an entrepreneurial family. My grandfather came back after the Second World War, where he serviced vehicles on the front line of the war, and basically started to build this small, what I call empire, consisting out of, at the moment, it's I think 9 companies related to real estate, manufacturing, prototyping, but also like a small family office. So I started to see what it gives someone who, in the entrepreneurial space, what the freedom could be, what the, let's say, the positive aspects are. But at the same point, I've realized that it can split a family in half if the interest is not aligned. Hence, I have decided quite early that I do not want to take a part of it, and started to gain some traction in my first company, which I've started when I was 15 and a half years old. It was supporting sales as a service, basically for insurance companies, for cloud-based companies, and I've basically helped them to build up teams and to structure the sales approach, which was basically a fairly good running business. But then I expanded and used this traction and this knowledge that I've built at the first FCA regulated OTC desk in the digital asset space. We had an agency there, was responsible for 3 of the 4 business parts, which was investor relation, where I've built a network of investors globally with around 300 million in capacity. And we have brought them to the table with a couple of, let's say, good projects in the digital asset space 2017-18. So we were quite the early adopters. We had a running OTC desk, and were able to facilitate lendings with coins, with different scenarios, and a pre-advisement channel, and the OTC block trades, of course. And when the market pace kicked on, we were basically being eaten up by the pace and the volumes that have been traded. So I came back from London to Germany, equipped with a network full of investors who I knew were willing to take some risks. So I basically did what people are doing the opposite way now, and transferring or pivoting between from the traditional banking or investment space to the digital assets one. So I've basically done the opposite and partnered up with a discretionary trader in 2020. And we started to build this private investment firm where I basically was the running the whole structure, the whole company, corresponding with the trustees, the investors, taking care of everything, while he is basically just trading the funds. And when we hit a certain threshold in Germany under the BaFin regulations, where we needed to decide if we want to stay at this like volume of a couple of millions from high net worth individuals and beneath the 20 people mark, or if we want to expand and get some sort of a regulation or licensation or authorization. I basically decided to go on and see where we can scale this to, because we have been building some traction with the US hedge fund back in the days already, and he wanted to be able to still have a barbecue, have a beer with all the investors, which becomes quite difficult if you look at an institutional investor with a couple of MDs. Like, who do you want to pick to invite to your barbecue? So we split. I moved the company to Switzerland, which is now acting as the hub, where we outsource all the sales components, where we outsource the development of the systematic algorithms, and where we outsource the scouting for external managers, what we've done in the past as well. And in Luxembourg, everything execution-wise takes place, where we have a registered AIFM under the CSSF and an alternative investment fund beneath, where we are currently trading 3 strategies with around 40 algorithms, and one that will be joining this summer approximately, which will be a capacity constrained statistical arbitrage model, and one that we are still having in the lab stage, which is a trend following CTA. But the idea is to form a multi-manager fund or multi-strategy fund, depending on multi-manager, multi-strategy fund, where we have this core product, which is basically a well-performing ideal hedge fund strategy, which is uncorrelated to the markets and negatively correlated to other hedge funds, meaning we can basically pair it with whatever strategy we want to pair it with, and have these satellites going around that, consisting of very convincing managers with good track records, existing track records already, and of course the pedigree. They must have seen the hedge fund, whether it's boutique or corporate, once in their life or in their professional career from the inside. And of course, what we think is very, let's say, unique how we do it is that we screen the person behind the algorithm, not just from a business perspective, but also in their private life. Because I've seen it a couple of times in my professional career that it gets difficult if the person, no matter how good the deal is, how good the strategy is, it gets difficult if the person with all the characteristics that he brings to the table is not matching the team or is not matching the core values that I have. So I'm like very heavy on the personal perspective when choosing to or not to work with somebody. So yeah, that was my background in a nutshell. What I lack in, let's say, professional experience and in education, my team and everyone else that I've brought in or convinced to be a part of the team has got doctors, has got the Kayas, has got the masters of finance. So we are very well equipped with everything when it comes to pedigree. 3 of the portfolio managers are in the business for over 20 years, most of them over 25 years. They have been raising and running hedge funds in the past, very successful ones, 2.5 billion in volume, with awards being won. And we have now decided to join forces because we have got somehow the access to capital to bring us to from emergent to evolving. And we have got the strategies, we have got the right structure, and we have got the conviction to be able to raise some serious funds. And yeah, so that's basically it.
Thanks for sharing that. Appreciate sharing that. Fabian, how old are you, by the way?
26. I rarely get asked this question.
I'm just wondering because you look pretty young. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah,
But you
I'm
have a
quite
lot
young,
of
yeah.
experience. I can see that.
Yeah.
Understood. And right now, as you have already mentioned to us before, you are waiting for 50 million to enter the management, correct?
Correct. Yeah. I'm just like on standby because I can receive a call in the next 1 or 2 hours, maybe tomorrow, to go back to Zurich because we had a meeting there last week and it was quite good. It was very good, actually. So they went back to the United Arabian Emirates and basically said, I'll give you a shout if it's like between 20 or 30 or 40, and basically came back with us last Wednesday. Saying they would start with 50 million because they're just switching their allocation from Switzerland to other European countries because of the UBS having a too large weighting when it comes to the GDP of Switzerland because their market capital is larger than the GDP of Switzerland. So they wanted to move a couple of millions, and we were fortunate enough to have the meeting in the right place at the right time and convince them that we have something that they need, basically. And so yeah, one of the 3 guys is just flown into Zurich, and we are waiting for the next 2 guys to be appearing there. And then I would fly in, and we would do the whole transaction with the LPA being signed and everything. So yeah, 50 to come.
Great. Awesome to hear that. And what was the performance for the last 3 months?
So for the last 3 months, we are looking at 3.4%.
And drawdown, do you have any number on that?
No drawdowns for the last 3 months.
Okay. Do you have any trading history that you can share with us after the call?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we have got the brokerage statement since 2.5 years. So the track record goes along quite longer. So the sample portfolio is there since 2017, but with actual trading data for this exact setup and this exact portfolio, it's from July 22 onwards, which is being traded live.
Okay, we require to review that after the first call. Would you be able to send that over to our own domain?
Yeah, sure.
Great. Right now, do you have a partner right now in your own fund, or is it like you are the only one who taking the decision?
So my holding owns both of the companies. My holding owns the company in Switzerland and the company in Luxembourg. I have an in-house legal, which is participating with 7.5%, but we are domiciled at his office as well. He has his own fund administration, and he is very reputable. Charles, he's one of the managers in Luxembourg as well, and the conducting officer that takes care of all the, let's say, daily tasks and bookkeepings and everything, and the NAV, for example. He owns 7.5%, but I am the majority stakeholder with still 85% left and 100% of the company in Switzerland. But yeah, I've got some advisory board members, if that's the question. They have no voting shares, but they are there to further legitimize the business. For example, one person will be joining from the 1st of next month. He's just on garden leave as the COO of an $11 billion hedge fund from Singapore. So I've been in touch with him for quite some time, and he wanted to do something on his own because corporate hedge funds became boring for him. And I've explained him that we can do something together and join forces. And first, he just wanted to use the platform to launch some low capacity, or let's say small trading managers. But we figured out a way that makes the best out of all. And yeah, he is now be joining next month as an advisory board member because he's still on garden leave, so he can't be too, let's say, visible. But yeah, the other 2 advisory board members are also portfolio managers. which is Dr. Alexander Passo, very famous mathematician, solved the Johnson-Omega equation, and Alexander Oros, which was the founder of Blue Diamond Asset Management, 2.5 billion AUM, and many awards to be won.
Got it. And what the capital targets that you are looking to raise for this year?
So, of course, if we should land, I mean, knock on wood, we will land the 50 million. I'm quite convinced by that. That means we are 10 million away from 100 million. So if that should be the case, the next 10 million should be doable this year. We have got a pipeline. I mean, I would say it's a pipeline, but of course, we have been ghosted a couple of times already. But there are some investors where we actually see some traction, or where maybe imagine some traction. But there are around 80 investors that are regularly reviewing our performance updates. Just open up the mail a couple of times, not just once, and really spend time in analyzing what we do. So I could imagine that we can do the next 10 by ourselves. But what I've realized reading through your posts is that we are not prepared for anything further than that. We need to have an automation. We need to have a system. We need to be able to orchestrate capital raising. The mid office is basically non-existent. I'm taking care of all the necessary work, reaching out to the follow-up mails, to doing the calls. Like, no one else is at the moment able to pitch the products and the structure. So yeah, we are not prepared for anything further, but I would love to be in a position or get into a position where we are able to do that.
Got it. So in this case, you don't have any operators who are taking care of the sales process of raising capital, correct? Is that what you are talking about right here?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay. And right now, I am assuming that you have already, how many investors or how many clients you have today?
4. You
have 4. And since when you have already entered them to the fund?
I mean, 2022.
And since then, you have the same amount of the clients?
Okay, got it. That's what you're asking. Okay. So the last one was onboarded last year. Yeah, almost a year ago. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the same client, how many clients they have already started with you, with your own fund, and they keep continue with you, they keep doing their re-ups constantly with your own fund? Do you have any metric on that, on the lifetime value, I mean?
Not really. So